Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, yes, so on that last note, you'll have to make your own mind up as we go along, but I do enjoy digging a little deeper than perhaps most people on some things which are lurking in the background. I never take, what should we say, the world as it is at face value, and it's probably I know those people that are here do, because you're quite a special group in that you have inquiring minds. You're not sheeple, so you want to know what's really going on, and I hope I can bring some interest to you and possibly some advance warning of difficult times to come. So you'll have to keep walking forward to move this on a bit, but yes, you're very welcome to study the books that I've got laid out there while you're here. They're part of my source material. I've got a lot more besides, and some of them quite hard to get hold of.
If you want to, just tell me, I'll get the space.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good. Right, let's go to the beginning, as it were. I mean, here's a slide of Adam and Eve, but in actual fact, what I want to do is to go back rather earlier than Adam and Eve, and then we can come back to them. In our origins, there's always the question of the origins of evil, and how does that come about? I read an interesting little book recently. This is actually the cover that's on the screen. Fallen Angels, the Watchers, and the Origins of Evil. And the thesis there is that Adam and Eve were created beings, although long after the basic human form was widespread, either on this planet or elsewhere. And the story goes from a number of sources, secular and from the Bible, that certain watchers, angels, kept not their first estate, but came down and took wives of the children of men, and there were born unto them giants, men of renown, men of old. And these giants were pretty awful characters. They became cannibalistic, and in fact, you find giants in every culture, just about. There's records and references to them. And recently, now I don't know whether it's completely reliable information, but I understand that in Saudi Arabia, in the Empty Quarter, there was some oil exploration going on, and they unearthed a skeleton that's 36 feet high. But the head alone is 5 feet long. There's a photograph of it on the web. Apparently, the Saudis have sealed the area off. But there was a photograph that was evidently taken from a helicopter, and it's quite clear. Now, there are various other photographs. Some of them I think may be fakes, but if you do your own search, you'll find some considerable interest there. I mean, there are pictures which are not in dispute, where you see somebody holding a thigh bone of a man, and it's about that long. But anyway, that was the effects of the that early stage, and also going back earlier still from that. How many of you have heard of Cydonia? And well, Cydonia is an area of Mars, and so we go on a bit. Yes, this is just. I may come back to this, but the Book of Enoch is quite a useful source of early information. Some people claim that it was written only about 200 BC. Jesus refers to it, and various apostles in the Bible refer to it. And if you take it at its face value, then it was written before the flood. And there's a lot of references to the giants and the monsters, because in those far-off days they were into genetic engineering even more than our dodgy people are. And there were, I mean, historically, if you think about it, that's where the myth of the centaur comes from. Are you familiar with the centaur? I expect the horse's body and a man's torso. So that's the type of thing that is implied by references to the monsters. But they were told that they had no there was no forgiveness for them because they had come about as a result of evil, and there was no hope for them. So that's Enoch. Then here we are on Mars. Now this photograph doesn't show up terribly well, but this is a bit better. Can you see all these markings? Now this is within a Hale crater. If you want to Google it, Hale crater on Mars, you can get this picture up. And in actual fact, what I followed the recommendation, and I darkened it and sort of changed the contrast a bit. And all these markings show up quite well. And really, the question is, what is it? I've seen this on other photographs of Mars, but I've never seen it on photographs of anything else. It could be. I was trying to get my Google Earth up today, but it wouldn't play ball. My computer was playing up. But from a certain height, cities might look like that. So the question is that evidence of anything on Mars, or is it just an aberration? Well, I don't know. But if you feel like having a look at the Hale crater, you can draw your own conclusions. This is the face on Mars, and this is one that there's been a certain amount of controversy about. The NASA are trying to pass it off as a natural phenomena, but when you look at some of the original photographs that were taken of it, I mean, this is very clear. I mean, you've got the eye sockets, you've got the nose, you've got the mouth, and it doesn't really show up in this photograph, but there is some sort of a protrusion above the eyes, which would correspond with the ancient Egyptian pharaohs used to have a snake on their forehead with their sort of ceremonial robes, and this relates to the pituitary gland or third eye. Is it pituitary gland? Yes, it is. Yes, and this is rather interesting because as this shows, the Viking face on Mars, evidence of blocks. So you can see 10 metre blocks there, 2 metre size block cluster, possibly sand covered blocks. The thing has been manufactured. It's not a natural item. It is artificial. Going on, I mean, here's a pleasant fellow. I mean, at a glance, he looks quite nice, doesn't he? That's another strata on Mars, and there are others as well. But now this is I put this up particularly with two of our audience in mind. This shows the correlation and the angles and so on of the pyramids, because this is what they are. I mean, the largest of those pyramids is something like 1.5 miles long and about 1 mile high. It's absolutely enormous, and it's 5-sided. Now, there are a number of these pyramids. They seem to form a correlation which you find is nearly the same as the correlation of the stars in the Pleiades. So, the next one, you have this layout of the positioning of the pyramid's various features at Cydonia on Mars, and it seems to fit very closely to what's at Avebury. This rather comes to a book. I haven't actually got it here, but I did buy recently, and there are a lot of books on this subject. But in ancient times, on the Earth, people set out artifacts, monuments.